Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to another week in education, the Teachers Talking Terror podcast, where myself, Mike,
and myself, Courtney,
are here to talk about probably one of the greatest films we've ever covered, if not ever made.
Yes.
We're talking about 1986's Slaughter High. This movie. I have a soft spot for this movie for no reason at all. This movie from top to bottom is just an opportunity for the special effects team to show what they've been working on. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the sole purpose. It's the best part of this movie's special effect. Even the music, I'd forgotten every time I watch this movie, which really I've only seen it like 3 or 4 times. Every time I'm watching it and Harry Manfredini's name comes across the credits. It means nothing to you, but he's done a lot of music for the Friday the 13th series with Jason. And so I'm like, oh yeah, Harry Manfredini did the music for this movie. And then as you're watching it, of course, I've seen the Friday the 13th movies quite often. We get into the music in here, and I'm like, a lot of this music is from Friday the 13th. Like, he didn't even write new music for some of the scenes. He just borrowed from part 4 or whatever.
Control C, Control V.
Yeah, well, not in 86. But yes, you are correct. It was a lot of just copy paste. Like, nobody's really watching anyway. But this movie it's just trash, like top to bottom. Yeah. Last week, though, I will say it was, you got your comeuppance, because when we covered I Spit on Your Grave, you had made the comment near the end of the show of...
yes, I was... yes, I was thinking of that, and I'm like, I can't forget to say that in the show. Yeah.
You made the comment about how, why movies don't show full frontal male nudity.
Well, we saw it, and this is why.
We saw that. Yeah. We saw full frontal male nudity a good hour before we saw any female nudity at all.
Oh, yeah.
Good old Marty's right out there in all his glory. This movie's just dumb. Like, the plot of this movie is dumb. The characters are dumb for going along with the plot of this movie. Like I mentioned last week, it does kick off with a series of adult actors pretending they're in high school because we need them to be high schoolers before they're adults. So we have our main... You can't really call him the main character because he's like only in the bookend parts. He's not in the majority of the movie.
Yeah, but the thought of him is in the whole movie. So
we'll
give him that.
But yeah, the object of bullying, Marty Ranson, is he's your nerd. He's just your stereotypical 80s movie nerd. And he's being led on by Carol, like this. Yeah, she's supposedly just the hottie, played by, honestly, where the budget probably went, Carolyn Monroe. She's had a career, so they got her on board with this, and she's quite an attractive lady.
Yes, she is.
But the acting is so terrible. Like,
I know, like the way she
Marty
brings him into the shower, and she's like, "Well, how do you like it, hot or cold?" And it's like, Marty, come on. I know that you probably don't get lucky all the time.
Ever.
But, true. But you're smart enough to know that if a girl is also not getting undressed while you are standing there fully unclothed, something's wrong.
Well, turn around, Marty. I don't want you to see, like... Yeah. It's like... You almost get to a point where you're like, yeah, Marty, you kind of deserved it. Like,
yes,
like you're just a complete bozo. Like, yes. So there, and it's just, you could, this movie is like 91 very long minutes. To where this beginning part of this movie really feels like they're just padding the runtime. Like, we gotta get to an hour and a half. So there's just this really long of Marty's in one shower stall in the women's restroom, by the way.
Yeah.
And get naked, Marty, because we're going to have some fun. And, meanwhile, like all of Carol's friends set up outside of the shower, and they have a film camera, and they basically are just going to completely humiliate Marty.
But mind you, the water hadn't even been turned on yet.
No.
So Marty didn't hear the door open to the locker room. He didn't hear the 5 or 6 friends coming in, getting set up with their big, I mean, and it's like the big equipment. Like, it's not just like, you don't understand. A camcorder.
Marty's focus was on the action. And for him, it's like, I don't care. I'm getting close to a home run here. And
with the hottest girl in school.
With a hot Carol.
Nothing gonna distract me.
So then they whip open the shower curtain. We see full frontal Marty as he's in a panic. And they just mock him and film.
Yeah.
And, ha ha ha, we meet Skip. Skip is kind of the ringleader of this cool kid group. They're like physically abusing him, like all right there. Eventually the coach comes in, he gets mad at all of them for what they did to Marty. He then gets mad at Marty for being in the girls' bathroom.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, to be fair, he was.
And he was naked. It's like,
he was naked, yeah. And so they're going to, they all have detention. It's just really dragging on this, this early scenes of just watching Marty get targeted. They got to serve detention. A couple of those kids that were in on it, they go apologize to Marty. Hey, Marty, have some grass. Like, nobody knows how to deliver a line in this movie, which makes everybody equally bad as an actor.
Yeah.
But it is so, like, cheesy and dumb that it's almost sweet. Like, you could tell this is like, hey, we don't have much of a budget. We have an idea. Let's just get the best actors we can afford. And this was the best actors they could afford. This marijuana was laced with something. Marty got sick. Marty's then like at a site. He's like in the lab by himself.
Yeah.
Like it just showed like there's the only adult in this movie. And this part was like the PE teacher, the
and
coach,
the janitor.
And the janitor. That's it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that was it.
And so, yeah. So we got Marty in a chemical lab by himself, just because he's a nerd, so we have to make sure that he's doing nerdy
when
things.
You were in school, were you guys just allowed to like mess with stuff like that? Because in movies they always can.
Absolutely. Back in the 80s, heck yeah. You do whatever you wanted.
Oh, I couldn't imagine.
You stay out past curfew. Oh, it's great. You just go into science labs, play with chemicals. No. We did not have free reign of anywhere we wanted to go in the school. So Marty's working on some science projects. Skip messes around with it, replaces it with some acid or something. It was nitric acid. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Marty ends up, there's a flame. Marty ends up grabbing the nitric acid, pours it all over him. The camera just lingers on him so that we can see the special effects working as his skin's bubbling. And he's just got some like squib work going on underneath. And it's kind of a cool effect, but at the same time, like,
yeah.
It's a cool effect in a crap movie. So
right, yeah.
Potato, I guess. And Marty is left just very mangled and disfigured. And Carol wakes up from a dream.
Right, and it is now 10 years later.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, Carol's bed, 10 out of 10. I wanted to sleep in that bed. It was so cool.
Become an adult film star and the world is yours.
So cool.
Yeah, there you go.
And she meets up with some friends at the 10-year.
Well, yeah, because they all got invited to the 10-year reunion. Yes. They haven't spoken to each other in 10 years. Like,
which blows my mind because it's like, which I get. There are some people that I'm friends with and we don't talk for months. And when we hit it off, it's just like we never, but it's like, you guys haven't talked for 10 years.
Nope. We graduated high school and that was the last time we talked.
And not even it's just, okay.
You've lived the majority of your life in the social media world.
Very true.
This was pre-social media to where out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
even though they all look, none of them have aged a day.
No, they haven't. They look great. And so they head to the school and they find out after not too long that like they're the only ones there.
Yeah.
I mean, the school is shut
Closed.
down.
Yeah, it's closed.
Yeah.
The inconsistent prep work of, it's been like the school closed down like 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
But it's been 10 years since they graduated. So the school was in operation for like 7 years. One of two things had to have occurred. One, the school was in terrible shape when it closed, or it's been longer than 3 years because the amount of physical decay in this building, it would take longer than 3 years. Like this is like a old barn in the middle of a field for 50 years worth of deterioration.
Yeah.
But just even the goofiness as they are, well, two of them were married. Two of them got married. But as they're making their trip back, like Skip stops and picks up a hitchhiker. It just happens to be one of his classmates headed to the reunion. And then their car breaks down. And as he's trying to check out the car, a truck like hits its horn. So this truck pulls up behind Skip, who's looking at the hood under the hood of his VW. This truck pulls up behind him and Skip doesn't hear it until he hits the horn. Happens to be people on the way to the graduation. It's like the timing of it is funny because all of you are going to graduation. All of you are on the same road at the same time.
Yeah.
You never see anybody else because there's nobody else in the budget. And it's just comical because now they're all wearing adult clothes as opposed to teenage. Yeah. It's just so...
And their hair is styled a little bit different, but that's it.
Yeah, two of them are married. The rest of them are like, oh, I haven't seen you in, what has it been? 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's so heavy-handed. But you're right. They show up at the school. They still act like, keep in mind, these people are supposed to be like 28 now.
Yeah, like they're my age at this point because my 10 years this year.
But they're still acting like they were high school kids, like throwing a bottle at the school sign. And, it's just so goofy.
And so they weren't too upset that the school closed because they're like, let's just break in and party.
Exactly. Like there's no red flags here. Hey, the 10-year reunion is back at the school that's been closed for 3 years and is in terrible shape. Whatever.
Let's drink and have fun.
It feels right. But yeah, they were the only ones invited. So like you said, they break in, they party. The janitor, for some reason, still works there.
Like the caretaker, janitor, whatever. But he obviously wasn't doing a very good job because...
No, that's just it. He takes such pride in his promotion. Like, dude, it's not like you have anyone to clean up after.
Right.
You just need to keep the place clean.
Yeah.
And it's like it's worsened with you on the clock.
Yeah. But he no longer can clean.
No. We meet him in the flashback so that we can have somebody to kill first.
Yeah.
And it's an old 80s trope. If you have a black actor in a horror film, they're going to be the first to die. Well, there you go. So he gets killed by a figure that, come on, let's not kid ourselves. We know it's Marty.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. This movie is not a mystery.
No. And if it is, then I'm sorry for you.
Yeah. There is no doubt. There should be no doubt in anyone's mind that Marty is behind all these.
Especially because he's wearing the jester hat.
Yeah.
That was worn when Skip tortured him.
Right. Like all of this stuff that was done to him. There was no... Like they even talked about him. Hey, has anybody heard from Marty? I haven't thought about Marty for 10 years. It's so corny. And they're like, I heard he was this. I heard he did that. Like nobody knows. Well,
right.
But it just shows, even they're talking about this, he's not dead. Like they know he's not dead.
Right.
The movie never made us think that he's dead.
No.
So of course it's Marty doing all this stuff. Yeah, so the caretaker gets killed. And really, it's just movies just starts picking off friends.
Yeah, I was going to say, they just drop like flies. Like, they are laced with nitric acid in their beer, and they die because they explode.
Yep. Which was cool.
One of them was taking a bath.
Oh, yeah, I felt bad for her.
Yeah.
Like,
and again, acid melted her.
Yeah, and that was kind of cool. She just kind of kept standing up, and your skin was all drippy.
Yeah.
And a couple of them had I think it was like a car battery or something wired to a bed frame. So when they were making love, when she reached up to grab the headboard, because apparently her life was in a really good place at that moment, she was electrified and electrocuted, and as was the guy. And so we get this, felt like a 30-second scene of her topless, just kind of jiggling around. Like, I'm like, okay, yep, she's dead.
But it was, I like how it was like everything that happened to him.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like the acid,
for sure.
and then he went to like grab the towel bar when he was being tortured, and they volted something onto there, so he was electrocuted. You know, it's kind of like circling back, like he's like, you know, revenge type.
Exactly. And again, it's obviously Marty. Like,
yes, yeah. Right? Who else knew this stuff?
But they don't even put two and two together for quite a while. Like, this stuff's happening and it's terrible. They got one friend that, like, he heads to the car and he's got to get out of there. And, you know, and he gets in the car, which they parked like a crazy distance away.
Yeah.
And then Marty naturally is in the back seat, right waiting for him. Sits up, stabs him through the gut. It's like, it's again just another one of those 80s fun tropes of like, of course the killer is right where the camera's going to be. Like, this kid's going to head to the car and Marty beat him there. Like, how long was Marty in the back seat waiting? Like, all these things. So he gets killed. You know, we get one girl killed off screen. Another guy, they have an idea like, hey, we found like a lawnmower. Let's get this lawnmower fixed up and we'll drive this out of here.
Yeah.
So they kind of jack the lawnmower up. He's laying underneath it, fixing it. And Marty comes along and starts lowering the jack.
Yeah, which, I mean, you know, he thinks it's his friend.
Yeah.
Hand it to me. Hand me the wrench. And,
right.
And then he hands it and he just starts lowering it. And it's like,
What do you do, though? Like, that's a genuine panic because it was too tight to get out in time, but too heavy to hold up with your hands. He was trying. He was trying to hold it up.
His adrenaline was going. Like, you could tell, like, he was trying so hard.
You could even tell with those fake arms that they had on. Yeah. Because his arms somehow were, like, his elbows were bending coming out of his shoulders. It was this weird.
Yeah.
But he got the mower running because Marty turned it on. Blades started spinning and just chew them up. Like, again, like, okay, kind of cool. I'll take that. The budget's low, but you're having fun with it.
Yeah.
You know, Nancy, I don't know any of these people. Carol and Skip are the only two names I know. One woman drowns. She,
and like this cesspool of just, ugh.
Right, it was gross.
Yeah, sludgy looking.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Skip, go ahead.
Skip, he is, it's set up to make him look like he's hung himself.
Yeah.
And he wiggles around enough to where he breaks free.
Yeah, it gets loose. Yeah. Yep. So Skip escapes. Then we get basically the showdown between Carol and the Jester.
Yeah.
Because again, we don't know it's Marty.
Right.
And so this really pathetic chase scene, and you could tell this is the problem I always have had, even as a kid. It would bother me when there's a chase scene, but nobody is sprinting.
Right. Like they're all just like tiptoe, slightly walking fast. Like,
you know, maybe a slow jog, but we have to do it because the cameraman has to.
Right.
Like they got to move the camera. So, you know, our job is much easier than their job. We just have to jog slowly and, but they never like speed it up and post or anything. They just let them jog. So the Jester's chasing Carol all throughout the school. She gets her hands on an axe.
Yeah. And she's going to kill him.
And he comes right around the corner, doesn't he?
And she axes a face.
Yeah. Yep. We're like, oh, you got him.
You got Skip.
Yeah, because Skip escaped.
Yeah, and the jester gets the javelin that they had been hitting him with in the beginning, and somehow stabs Carol to kill her, but it's like the javelin literally just went in her, like,
yeah.
When he pulls it out, I'm like, oh my goodness, that was so fake.
Yeah, she got pierced, basically.
Yeah.
But he did, like, corner her in the locker room where all of it... And even takes his mask off at this time.
Right, and he's like, you like it hot or cold?
Right. And it's like, Marty, if anything, knows how to hold a grudge.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, he kills Carol, and he wins. Like, everyone's dead now. Mm-hmm. And so he's satisfied. He peels it off. You see his face is still disfigured, but not, like, terribly disfigured.
Right.
Just it's burns. Marty. Yeah, he's got the acid burns. And then he gets attacked.
Yeah.
He gets attacked by the spirits of everybody he just killed.
Yeah. This was like, what the heck?
I thought this was kind of a really cool scene because it shows Marty's like out of his head, which when you kill that many people, you know that you are, but he still is not at peace. Like he can't shake these people, even though he's physically removed them from his life. He can't shake them. So he gets attacked by their spirits. And then we get our kind of our second little thing of like, then Marty wakes up in a hospital. So now we're like levels of inception here of, was Marty remembering all this stuff? Was Marty dreaming all this stuff?
Yeah.
Why was Marty dreaming about Carol dreaming about this stuff?
Yeah.
Like there's too many pipelines to control here. But he wakes up, he's got bandages all over his face, which gives me the feeling that this is Marty's almost like fever dream of what he would like to do to these people.
Yeah.
Because he still has the bandages on his face as he's trying to recover from the acid burns from the beginning. So you almost feel like everything that happened in the middle didn't really happen. The beginning happened, and then the end happened, and everything in the middle was Marty's dream.
Marty, because then as the nurse, is checking his skin grafts, the alarm in his room sounds off.
Yeah, the nurse come in and she's like, hey, everything worked, buddy.
Yeah, and the doctor then rushes in.
Well, I don't call it a rush.
But rushes like they do.
Yeah, he wanders back into the room.
And like right as he's coming in, Marty and the nurse like swap places.
Yeah, like Marty had somehow
killed her.
Yeah, I don't know, but whether I think he killed her, but at the same time, like, hey, your skin graft worked, and somehow he murdered her,
right?
And then changed clothes with her. So luckily, she was the same size. Got a wig somehow.
Did he have a wig on, or was it just his hair and the hat?
I don't know if
his hair was kind of long.
Okay, maybe that was it. It just felt like the hair was longer.
Yeah, I feel like from the back it did look longer. And then is like bent over the now dead nurse / patient, and the doctor comes in to see.
Yeah.
And he turns around with like this scalpel.
Right.
And stabs.
Well, no, it was a needle.
Yes. Yeah. Because it had like a syringe needle.
Yeah.
Yes. And stabs the doctor in the eye.
Yeah, plants this like syringe right into the doctor's eye, and then stares at the screen for what felt like 5 minutes as he rips the skin graft off his face, and then the movie ends. So I have a question for you about the end of this. When Marty switched places with the nurse, did that happen in the time it took the doctor to respond to the alarm? Or did Marty do that and then trigger the alarm himself?
I think that he was like trying to attack her, so then she triggered the alarm.
Okay.
And then it happened.
Okay. Because it's like he got changed in the meantime. Like, yeah. So, but it doesn't matter because this movie is dumb. But it's still, I don't know, it's fun. It's dumb though. And the nice thing is it's memorable.
Yes.
Because my wife was like, what movie you guys covering? I go, Slaughter High. She goes, is that one where the guy was in the shower and then killed them all at the reunion? And I'm like, yeah, It is.
You bet.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, that's why I love my wife. Like, gotta love her. So it's a movie about school.
Yes, it is.
We haven't had one of those in a while.
No.
What do you want to grade it?
Like
It's incomplete.
a C minus, D plus.
Oh, you thought it was that bad?
D plus. I'm gonna go with the D. Yes, because it was just like
it was
so cliche,
right?
Almost, and like you just knew everything that was gonna happen.
Absolutely, but that to me, and again, obviously different generations. I grew up in the '80s. I don't mind that when the movie plays its hand early,
right,
and then sticks with it. It's like, okay, you've established this movie is bad, so now I'm on board. Like, I know what I got a feeling I know what to expect. So let's just see how bad it gets. Like,
yeah,
and with that, there's no surprises. But yeah, you C minus, D plus. That's fine. I would probably go with a C minus.
Yeah,
I would agree with that. There are a plethora of movies better than this. This is not an average film. If we're looking at a bell curve of a grading scale, this is not an average horror film.
No.
But if you haven't seen it, ladies and gentlemen, you can watch it on Roku or Tubi for free. And you should, because there are... I would recommend this to somebody, honestly. If they were like, hey,
it's an easy watch.
Yeah, what's a movie that's kind of a fun horror film? It's not scary at all.
Yeah. Like, my only thing would be like, disclaimer, you're gonna see male genitalia. Yeah. But that's it. Just because I feel like you don't usually see the guy in the movies.
You don't.
So I don't feel as if, hey, you're going to see some boobs. Like, that's nothing I have to worry about.
Right.
But, hey, by the way, you are going to see.
If you're grossed out by a pee-pee, then...
Yeah, pee-pee.
You'll blink for a moment.
That's right.
But yeah, it is definitely... It's an easy watch. It's not scary. It's creative in its gore. Like... You know, there was a little bit of redemption there.
Yeah, there was.
The special effects crew was okay.
Yes.
But it's still like, is it good? No, it's not good.
No.
But it's fun. Like, if someone were to say, hey, should I watch When Evil Lurks or should I watch Slaughter High? I'd be like, well, how depressed do you want to be?
Right.
Well, I don't. Well, then don't watch When Evil Lurks.
Yeah.
But no, there are a lot of movies I would recommend over this. But if someone were like, I'm just looking for a good time, something I don't have to think about, something I can watch with my friends and laugh at, like aside from the male genitalia and the female, nudity, this would be like a fun watch for like a group of high school kids to be like, just, hey, let's all have a sleepover and watch something stupid. Like, yep, this one will do it for you because it's fun. Like nobody's going to be. There's no nightmares with a movie like this.
Right.
So, all right. Is it a scratch off?
Yes.
Is that what we got?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me hit the old playlist and see what we've got left. Let's see if we've watched anything and we take off. No. I don't think so. So, movies we have left. Should we read them off?
Yeah.
No, there's 79 of them.
Oh, no. Never mind then.
There's too many. I just skim it through to make sure there's nothing that we watched that we need to take off. I don't think so. I think everything on the list is still accurately there and should be. Man, there's a lot of good movies we haven't watched yet. That's the cool part of this show is the history of horror is still so... Like, we watch a movie like Slaughter High from 86... And have we watched Jaws? No. Have we watched The Exorcist? No. Silence of the Lambs? Of course not. But have you watched Slaughter High? Yeah. Have you watched Street Trash? You bet we have. You know what I mean? So it's just nice. There's a big umbrella. All right. I'm shuffling and... All right. New movie for me. Haven't seen this one.
Okay. I was going to say your reaction wasn't like, oh, it's a good one.
No, it's one that's been on my radar for a while. I've not seen it. We are going to be watching the 1981 psychological horror drama Possession.
Okay.
Possession. I I've heard if it's the movie I'm thinking of. Yep, it is. It's the movie I'm thinking of because it's got Sam Neill in it. Sam Neill is from Jurassic Park. If you've seen Jurassic Park, you'll recognize him. But we have a well, there's really no like plot synopsis, but it's kind of worked its way into a cult film status. It is a like French and West German movie, but it's in English.
Okay.
Okay. So you don't need to be worried about that. I think, because again, I've not seen it. I think it's kind of a slow burn, but it shows up on a ton of lists of underrated horror films.
And it does come in at little over 2 hours.
Yeah, it's a lot of psychological horror films are slower burns.
Yes.
Because you have to set up your characters enough so that they don't know if they're crazy or not. Like, you know, and it takes a little while of world building to do that.
Yeah.
But no, this is one that I have seen show up on a lot of lists of kind of underrated, or forgotten horror films. And it's on the scratch off list. So that's a good start because, again, that's supposedly like 100 most influential.
Yeah.
So we will be watching 1981's Possession. Let's see if that one's streaming anywhere.
Yes.
Possession is streaming. Where are you seeing it streaming at?
My thing says AMC Plus, which is a Prime Video channel, and Amazon.
Okay, you've got it. Yeah, you can watch it.
Well, yeah, you can rent or buy them, I guess.
Yeah, you can rent or buy it. You can stream it on Shudder if you have a Shudder subscription, which is something that I know comes along with an AMC Plus. So if you got AMC Plus, you got access to Shudder. And that's probably where we get the AMC Plus mixed in there. Very rare that you see female nudity on a poster.
I know. I was just looking at that and I'm like, her butt's on the poster.
Oh, you're seeing a butt? Man, I'm not seeing a butt.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Her back is faced towards me.
Oh, you're looking at am I
on the right one?
Possession 1981. Look at Look at it on Wikipedia because
okay. I'm on IMDb.
Oh yeah, IMDb is a little bit more family friendly, I would say. But no, it's not a person. It's clearly like a statuesque, Medusa looking figure. But no, she's busty. I want to see what they've got on. Yeah, I see Possession. That's the movie poster I remember seeing at the video store. Was the one that you saw, not the one that has boobage. Okay. So, but yeah, we will be watching 1981's Possession. I'm kind of excited because this has been on my radar for a while, like I mentioned. But it's just one of those where I'd much rather leave my movie choices to chance by just hitting shuffle than actually watching something I want to watch. Because even my wife's like, when Barbie came out and it was available, for streaming or available to access, she's like, I want to watch Barbie. So I got my hands on Barbie. Have we watched it? That's just how life works in our household. It's like, well, until it shows up with the shuffle gods, we're not watching it. So that's why I'm in the middle of watching The Fly 2 right now. But I've got a couple movies to watch now because, well, we got podcasts coming up. I got recordings coming up. And no, The Possession is what is next on our agenda. I will make sure I knock that off the scratch-off list. And that's good. You got anything to add before we sign off?
Nope. Keep getting outside and getting that beautiful weather.
I know. It's going to be harder and harder to fit these movies in. It's so nice. So
I know.
Social media-wise, you can find us Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We also have a Letterboxd account that I need to keep updating and don't. But that's okay. You guys chime in. Add your reviews to our Letterboxd account.
Yeah.
But otherwise, for another episode of Deducation, I'm Mike.
And I'm Courtney.
We'll see you guys next week with Possession.
Bye.